All right, today we're diving into something a little different, a kind of dark fantasy parable. It's a mythic journey about an archetype we all think we know, the jester. But here's the thing, this isn't really a story about jokes. It's about a pretty radical idea. How the very gravity that pulls us down, our heaviest, most difficult burdens, can actually be transformed into our greatest strength. Let's get into it. So right off the bat, this quote just nails the jester's core struggle. You can almost feel the panic in those words, right? This frantic shield of mockery. He's using humor, but not for joy. He's using it to hide. But hiding from what? The myth calls it the spirit of gravity. Basically, the inescapable, heavy reality of just being alive. And that right there, that's his main antagonist. So, we begin our story with the prologue, the balloon with no string, or the untethered spirit. Picture this. At the start, the jester is exactly that, a balloon with no string. He's a creature of pure air, just kind of floating aimlessly above it all. He's totally disconnected from the heavy stuff, you know? Pain, loss, suffering, all the things that make life, well, life.
And this really sets up the central conflict, this huge cosmic opposition. On one side, you have the jester, all air, all shields, completely cut off. And on the other side, the spirit of gravity. That's the anchor of existence. It's reality. It's pain. And you just know he can't float up there forever. Something's got to give.
And that brings us to the first major turning point in the myth. Act 1, the descent. This is where the jester finally realizes that if he ever wants to be whole, if he wants to find any real meaning, he can't keep floating. He has to choose. He has to choose to come down and confront whatever it is that's waiting for him inside. So what does he find down there in that internal void? He finds the ugliest man. Now, this isn't some literal monster. It's a powerful metaphor for his own shadow, for all the shame, the fear, the agony that he has pushed down and tried to laugh away. His path to becoming whole is this heroic confrontation, deep in the abyss of his own self. So how does this actually work? Well, it's laid out here almost like an alchemical process for the soul. It's fascinating. First, you have to choose the descent. You consciously stop running. Step 2, you confront that shadow. You look your ugliest man right in the eye. Third, and this part is absolutely crucial, you transform the void. That bottomless pit of despair becomes solid ground. And finally, you use that integrated pain to build a stable foundation. You literally turn poison into medicine. And this, of course, is where the story stops being just about a jester and starts being about, well, us. His journey is a map, so you have to ask yourself, who is your ugliest man? What are the buried truths, the parts of yourself that you're trying to float above? This myth is basically telling us that our own wholeness is waiting for us down there, in the dark, if we're brave enough to look. But confronting the shadow, that's not the end of the story. Not even close. It's the beginning. Act 2, the alchemical fire. Because this confrontation forges something new, a kind of wisdom described as an alchemical fire that's powered by reality itself. This new power has a name, Dionysian wisdom. And man, this is the very fuel for an unbreakable kind of inner resilience. It's the ability to look at the entirety of life, not just the good stuff, but the joy and the suffering, and give it a resounding yes. It's about seeing this whole chaotic, messy world not as a burden you have to endure, but as a masterpiece that you get to play in. So what's the engine that drives this wisdom? It's a principle called amor fati. It literally means love of fate. And this is so much more than just acceptance. It's an active, passionate embrace of your entire life story, the wins, the losses, all of it, and seeing it all as necessary, even beautiful. It's how you transform the leaden weight of your past into a golden opportunity. And this is how it works. The jester's laughter is completely transformed. It's not that nervous, defensive shield anymore. It becomes this powerful, transformative yes. It's a force that can look back at the past, at everything that just was, and reframe it into an active choice. I willed it thus. He takes complete ownership of his story. So what happens when you combine this descent into the self with this fiery new wisdom? You get Act 3, the liberated master. The jester isn't avoiding gravity anymore. No way. He's learned how to use its pull to create a graceful, meaningful dance. This reveals the central paradox of the jester's power, and it is just beautiful. By embracing the world's weight, he gets the friction he needs for the dance. By embracing human suffering, his humor gets an anchor. It stops being empty. By embracing fate itself, he finds a stage for his will.
The very things he used to run from have become the source of all his strength.
So the jester evolves into this new form, a tragic philosopher. I love that. It's someone whose wisdom was forged in pain. And his wit, it's not for self-protection anymore. It's an offensive tool, but one used for liberation, for himself and for others. He now connects with the full gravity of being human, and that very connection is what gives his humor its incredible power.
And as a liberator, his tools are completely different. He acts as a provocateur, holding up a mirror to show the whole community its own collective shadow. He uses that grounded, integrated humor to dismantle harmful illusions, to tear down rigid structures, and to guide other people toward their own freedom and lightness.
And that leads us to the final stage of his metamorphosis, the exodus of our story. After the descent, after the mastery, what's left is a state of pure creative freedom. This is the wisdom of the child.
As the child, the jester reaches this ultimate state of self-overcoming. I mean, imagine a spirit so free that it creates the road just by walking on it. There's no need for external validation, no fixed authority, no static idols to worship. There's only the pure, creative act of living moment by moment. He becomes a living bridge between our conscious self and our own hidden, frightening, and beautiful depths.
And right here, this is the core message of the entire myth. Wholeness isn't about victory. You don't defeat your shadow. You don't conquer your ugliest man. You integrate it. You invite it to join the dance. You learn how to engage with all the parts of yourself through a spirit of sacred play. Which brings us to this ultimate synthesis of the whole journey. Real wisdom. It isn't found in denying tragedy. It's found in a joke told with gravity. It's the ability to hold the crushing weight of tragedy in one hand and the impossible lightness of comedy in the other, and to know deep down that they're two sides of the same whole.
And that leaves us with one final thought to take with us. The myth suggests we all hold both of these things, the weight of our tragedies and the lightness of our comedy. So the only real question is, which one will you choose to lead with? Which one will you use to shape your world?